Today, we're going on a pretty amazing journey, actually. We're going to go deep inside the human body to really understand the fuel that powers our every move. Yep, we're talking all about carbohydrates. We'll follow them right from the food on your plate all the way to the energy firing up in your cells. I mean, think about it. It seems so simple, doesn't it? You eat some food and poof, you get energy. But behind the scenes, there's this incredible, complex biochemical race going on. So let's actually follow that race, step by step.
Okay, so first things first. Before any race can begin, you gotta meet the competitors, right? So, what is a carbohydrate, really?
Well, at its most basic level, a carbohydrate is just a molecule made of three elements. You've got carbon, that's the carbo part, and then hydrogen and oxygen, which together make water, or hydrate. So carbohydrate. This simple little blueprint is the foundation for the #1 fuel your body absolutely loves to use. And see that little N in the formula? That's the key. It just means these units can link together in all sorts of different ways.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Not all carbs are the same. Right at the starting line, they split into two very different teams. And how they're built, how those units are linked up, determines literally everything about how our body uses them.
So let's meet these two teams. A great way to think about them is as two different types of athletes. You've got your sprinters, and you've got your marathon runners.
Just look at the difference here. Simple carbs, they're small, just 1 or 2 sugar units. They are the sprinters. Your body digests them super fast for a quick, sudden burst of energy. You know that sugar rush? That's them. Then you have the complex carbs. These are these long, winding chains of sugar units, our marathon runners. They take way longer to break down, giving you a much slower, more sustained release of fuel. This whole structural difference is basically the reason we talk about things like the glycemic index.
So if we zoom in on that sprinter team, we find the most fundamental building blocks of all. These three right here. They're single sugars, also known as monosaccharides, and they are the basic foundation for pretty much every other carbohydrate out there.
And of these three, glucose is the undisputed superstar. It's what we call blood sugar, and it's the main energy currency for every single cell in your body. If our story has a hero, it's glucose.
So where do we actually find these things in our food? Well, fructose is the sugar that makes fruit taste sweet. Galactose and lactose, those are the sugars you find in milk. And good old sucrose, that's just table sugar. Okay, so our racers are at the starting line. Now it's time to actually follow them through the digestive system and see how they get broken down into usable fuel. Let the race begin.
So the race kicks off in the mouth, moves through the stomach. But the main event, the real action, happens in the small intestine. This is where those long, complex carb chains get dismantled into simple sugars. From there, they get absorbed into the bloodstream, ready to be used as fuel. And anything that can't be digested, like most fiber, just moves on to the large intestine.
So how does all that breakdown actually happen? Well, it's all thanks to these incredible little molecular workers called enzymes. You can think of them like tiny specialized scissors. You've got maltase, sucrase, lactase, and each one is designed to snip one very specific type of sugar link, breaking down these big, complex structures into simple little units the body can actually absorb.
All right, the carbs have been broken down, they've passed into the bloodstream, we're heading for the finish line now. Let's see how this food becomes actual, usable fuel. And here is the most crucial part of the whole journey. It doesn't matter what kind of simple sugar you started with, fructose from an apple, galactose from milk. The body's ultimate goal is to convert all of it into our hero molecule, glucose. It is the universal fuel source. And once it's in the form of glucose, it's ready to go. This is the high-octane fuel that powers absolutely everything, from a sprinter's explosive start off the blocks to the complex firing of neurons inside your brain. It's powering you right now.
You know, your body even has an emergency panic button for this whole system. In a fight or flight situation, the hormone epinephrine, which you probably know better as adrenaline, floods your system, basically screaming at your body to release all available glucose for immediate energy, right now.
But what happens if we take in more fuel than we need at that exact moment? Our body is way too efficient to just waste it. Instead, it takes a few clever detours to put that extra fuel into storage.
Any extra glucose that isn't used right away gets packaged up and stored in a form called glycogen. Your liver and your muscles act like little reserve fuel tanks, holding on to this glycogen for whenever you need quick energy. This is exactly why athletes do carb loading. They're just trying to max out these glycogen stores before a big event.
But here's the catch. These glycogen tanks aren't bottomless. They're really designed for short-term use, and they typically only hold about 12 hours worth of energy.
So it's more of a quick access savings account, not a long-term retirement fund.
And we can't forget about fiber. It's kind of the odd one out in the complex carb family, because our bodies can't actually digest it for energy. Instead, it acts like a workout for your digestive system. It helps you feel full and, really importantly, it feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which we now know plays a massive role in our overall health.
This whole system is incredibly elegant and efficient. But, sometimes the journey can hit a roadblock. What happens when one of those essential little enzyme workers is missing from the production line?
Well, that's precisely what's going on with lactose intolerance. The body is just missing lactase. That's the specific scissor enzyme that's supposed to snip milk sugar apart. Without that snip, the lactose can't be absorbed properly, and that's what leads to all that digestive discomfort. So, there you have it. From a simple molecule of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen to the very energy that powers your life, the journey of a carbohydrate is, well, it's pretty remarkable. It's the fundamental fuel for everything you do. So next time you sit down for a meal, ask yourself, are you fueling up for a sprint or are you fueling up for a marathon?